How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia, where we're back and we are here with Yuuji. After the girls kind of had their friendship, I don't know, committee, maybe? That's the word? I don't know. Like, I don't think that fits either. But essentially, they all got together and they're saying, all right, Sachi, we're willing to help you if you need help with trying to solve the riddle that Yuuji gave her, which was essentially saying, like, hey, why did you behave the way that you did on the beach? Like, why did you essentially say, I want something, you know, speaking from your heart, but she needs to understand what was it that actually happened there, and the most importantly, what does she want in the future? And I think it's good because the girls seem to be understanding that it's dangerous to tell her what they think she wants or to tell her what they think she should want, because she'll just do it. And instead they're trying to help her get to the resolution on her own. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen this episode, but I'm excited to find out. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know if there's anything else to it, just I'm excited to push forward. I guess I would like to know how much time I have, because I still need to play catch up with like 1.5 routes, we'll say. And so I need to know how quickly do I need to be moving. I feel like I've got some time, like a few weeks at least, but I don't know, it could sneak up on me. I'm not sure what to expect. Anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? That took nearly 2 hours. When cleaning a large area alone, there's an inevitable cost in terms of both time and physical energy. As Sachi's been doing this practically every day, no matter how efficient she is, there's some serious effort she's putting in for our benefit.
Kazami-kun, ちょうどいいところに.
Sorry, Princess, but you're a little young to be in here. This is a grown-up building.
そっか。じゃあ、千鶴、もっと大きくなってからまた来るね。
I don't like how she jumped into that role so quickly. Like, that's a little scary. Chizuru,
世にも奇妙なものを見たような顔しないで。いつもからかわれている仕返しにちょっと乗っかってみただけでしょ。
You know what? She's got a point. Fair play, fair play. Right, sure. Sorry. Normally the woman gets all in a huff of even the gentlest of jokes, so I was honestly afraid she just lost it.
あなたはどうしてそう意地悪なのかしら。
I don't know. It's like one of his few sources of pleasure. Don't know, but the women I sleep with seem to love it.
あのね。
So, what are you doing all the way out here anyway? Something urgent come up?
そうそう。実は、夏休みが終わる前に連絡しておきたいことがあったんだけど、みんな出かけてるみたいで。
Yeah, they're having a bit of a committee. Something you wanted to tell us about?
みんなごめんね。急に集まってもらっちゃって。
Chizuru stands before us with both arms folded behind her back, a very picture of a composed principal addressing her students. You'd never guess she was role-playing as a schoolgirl all of 30 minutes ago. Fortunately, it didn't take too long to gather the others. I got in touch with Amane right away, and apparently all 5 of them were doing something as a group for once.
それはいいんですけど、重要な連絡事項って何ですか？もしかして真夏日が終わるまで夏休みを延長するとか？
Wouldn't that be great?
それなら私も大賛成よ。なんなら一年中真夏日でもいいくらいだし。
Sure. Thank you, Michiru.
エアコンがなくても？すみません、学園長。話を続けてください。
That's a good 180.
それじゃあ本題に入るけど、今回の連絡は夏休みが延長されるとか、この学校がなくなるとか、そういう話ではありません。しかもあなたたちにとっては残念な知らせになるでしょうね。
Uh-oh.
じゃあこの話はなかったということで。
You can't avoid it just because you don't want to have it.
おとといで直してきな、お嬢ちゃん。こらこら。2人とも夏休みが始まる前はもうちょっと落ち着いていたような気がするんだけど。
No, they were just this crazy. It's just you haven't seen them in their raw element. Sorry, Principal Tachibana. They seem to be suffering from an overdose of summer vacation. I'll make sure to discipline them later.
しつけー！なんだか塩ビな香りがするわね。
Michiru.
塩ビじゃなくて陰ビな。
I'm so sorry.
単刀直入に言うと、 新学期が始まってすぐに学力テストを実施します。
Okay.
学力テスト？ええ。今回のテストは学力調査の一環として全国の学校機関を対象に行われるもので。
Yeah, we've had this in America. It's embarrassing. I doubt it's as embarrassing in Japan, but because Japan standards are so high, I'm sure they'll also think it's embarrassing.
学年に関わらず、全員が同じ内容のテストを受けてもらうことになっています。
Oh, that's interesting. So you give a uniform test to everybody and just kind of see where they track, you know? Not everyone's going to be able to answer all the questions. They probably will go from like grade school level to college level, and they just kind of try to see where people tend to fall off it, and then associate that with their grade level. That's actually a kind of fun idea.
全員が同じ内容ということは、出題範囲の方はどうなっているんです？
Oh, though, is this going to have a backfire with Sachi where she's going to feel like she has to do good on it because good girls do good on tests, and yet it's going to be covering material that we know she's really smart, but it still might be too advanced for her?
年齢がアドバンテージにならないよう、みんながこれまでに習った範囲からのみ出題される予定になっているわ。
なるほど。それなら特に問題ないわね。
さすが榊さんね。松島さんも普段から予習復習をしっかりしておけば、こういう時も慌てなくて済むようになると思うわよ。
Called out.
夏休みを楽しむのも大事だけど、後で後悔しないようにしっかり勉強しておくようにね。小峰さんもちゃんと聞いてる？
あ、はい。先日駅前のランジェリーショップで1万8000円の勝負下着を購入していたことはそっと私の胸にしまっておきます。
Oh no. Sachi, no.
小峰さん、いきなり何を？
You intending to make use of those sometime soon, Principal Tachibana?
いや、それはともかく、休み明けにテストがあることはちゃんと伝えたからね。
Great, good. Great, good. Bye. Best beads of sweat rolling down her forehead, the principal frantically wraps up her announcement, then scampers out of the dorm. Not the most dignified retreat I've ever seen.
でも、夏休み明けに学力テストか。こりゃ、地図ちゃんが言ってたように、ちょっと勉強しといた方がいいかもね。
I mean, it sounds like it's pretty basic stuff.
チルチルはどうやったらテストをバックれられると思う？風よ風。古今東西ずる休みする時の言い訳は風って決まってるんだから。
Don't look so proud of yourself.
ほらそこ、隠れて悪い相談しない。だってテストよ。私がこの世で2番目に嫌いなものが夏休み明けに待ってるのよ。
Oh, again, it's like you go through so many interesting things, and like knowing her background, it's like it's so intense. But then seeing her just being a student, it's just nice. It's refreshing.
じゃあ一番嫌いなのは？
子供に決まってるじゃない。
自分を嫌いなものの一番に持ってくるのも珍しいよね。
Oh, snap.
それどういう意味？
なんでもないわ。
Okay, I understand that you hate tests, but the point of this thing is to investigate scholastic achievement levels. It's not going to influence your grades even if you do terribly, right?
あんた何も分かってないわね、ユージ。
Like, wait, watch what you say here. What?
本当に勉強が苦手な子ってのはね、テストって言葉を聞いただけで具合が悪くなるようなレベルのことを言うのよ。
Okay, I guess that's fair.
ごめん、そこ威張るとこ？
Yeah, it's like a batter, a pathological testophobe, is it? That's a new one.
とうとううなり出したわね。
Yep, she's at moaning.
でもチルチルの気持ちは私もちょっとわかるのよさ。
I'm sure you do.
そうだ。ねえサチ、テストな
No,
くしてるでしょ。
no.
サチならできるでしょ。
That's such a... You idiot! The instant Michiru yelps out her desperate entreat, time comes to a halt. For me and Sachi, at least. The others simply glance in Michiru's direction with the standard expression of exasperation and pity. Yeah. We know how this went last time. Oh no. Normally, I might have reacted in the same way, but since I know about the events that brought Sachi to this school, those words hit hard enough to leave me stunned.
どうサチ、あんたほどのパーフェクトメイドならテストをなくすことすら可能なんじゃない？
We're gonna capture this moment, and we want to put a phrase like a title screen on the top that just says, "Pictures taken moments before disaster." Ooh, no.
それは。
The frozen moment is shattered as Michiru blunders on ahead. Sachi, clearly flustered, hesitates to answer.
こらミチル、いくらテストが嫌だからって無理を言ってさっちゃんを困らせないの。そんなの分かってるわよ。
You better make sure she understands
本
that.
気で頼もうとしたわけじゃん。
Right, I'm sure she wasn't. Michiru's words lacked any real malicious intent. She'd backed herself into a corner with all the theatrical complaining. Joking aside, jokingly asking Sachi for help was her attempt to exit strategy. But it's all right. We're going to accept that request. Oh, really? I guess if Yuji's gonna be a part of this, that's a decent idea. But I'm Sachi. I'm saying Sachi. I'm like, what? Fundamentally, Sachi's going to take charge of this one, but if it seems like she's going to fail, I'll step in and make it happen. In other words, we're taking joint responsibility.
ちょっとユージ、何言ってるの？
Just answering Michiru's petition. We'll get rid of that test as requested.
あんた何言ってるのよ。いくらサチが無敗のメイドだからって学校のテストをなくせるわけないじゃない。お風呂を掃除しろとか何かが欲しいとかそういうお願いとは違うのよ。
And that's the sad thing is Michiru doesn't even realize that she's not only spot on, but is horrifically even misunderstanding the situation. I wouldn't be so pessimistic. Just so happens that you asked someone who's successfully gotten rid of a test before.
それは本当なの、さっちゃん。
What an interesting play he's making here. I wonder why.
はい。ゆうくんの言っていることは本当です。みちる様と同じ依頼はそれで本当にテストがなくなったの？
Yeah, she did. To borrow Michiru's phrase, she's been an invincible maid for a very long time now.
さっちんすげえ。
さっちゃんならもしかしてとは思うけど、学校のテストをなくすなんてどうやったら？
それは。
That's going to be a secret until the day of the exam.
なんでよ。どうせ後でわかることなら今教えてくれてもいいじゃない。
I don't think. No. Tell me something, Michiru. What's the more enjoyable way to receive a present? You know what's inside, or when you don't?
それは中身を知らない方じゃない？普通に考えて。
Right. Same deal here.
ああ、なるほど。やるじゃないユージ。あんたなかなかのエンターテイナーね。
You're too kind. Sachi sits quietly on the sidelines as I push the discussion forcefully ahead, her eyes fixed on me. Guess I'm asking after the fact, but I assume you're alright with this, Sachi?
それは。
After all, turning her down would mean you're refusing to help someone. Guess that'd make you a bad girl. Okay, Yuji, I'm not sure what you're playing at here.
それは嫌です。
In other words, you'll accept the request?
はい。私はいい子でいなければいけないですから。
I wonder why he's doing this. He's got a plan, it seems, but what? Right. And for you, a good girl is a person who does what they're told, never refusing, never objecting, a wind-up doll marching along a path that they're set out for it. Yeah, I agree, Yumiko. I think you and I are on the same mind. We're like, what on earth are you doing?
さっちんがうなずいた。
ってことは本当に学力テストをなくすつもりなの？
Sachi wouldn't joke about this, and since I've assumed responsibility for her success, I won't allow her to fail.
まあユージが頼りになるのは最近のサチぶりからも明らかだし。
確かにお兄ちゃんが一緒ならテストだってなくしてしまいそうなのよさ。
Oh, it's not. She figured it out last time. That's right. Rest assured, we'll take care of it. Feel free to slack off for the rest of your summer vacation.
わかったわよ。どうやってテストをなくすのかは知らないけど、あんたに任せたからね、サチ。
はい。 私にお任せください。
Sachi, you have a second?
はい。
As the group disperses, I stop Sachi before she can leave the lobby.
今日はいつもと同じメイド服なのですが、どこかおかしかったでしょうか？
Noticing that I'm running my eyes all over her clothing, she requests an explanation in a slightly puzzled tone of voice. Not really. Your street clothes the other day left a strong impression, so I was just doing a little mental comparison.
すみません。課題の答えを考えるのに精一杯で、服装までは気が回らなくて。
I see.
もしゆうくんがご希望のようでしたら、今からでも着替えてきますが。
I'm sure you could, but don't worry. Like he and I both agree in this point that, of course, he understands he could just order her to do whatever he wants. That's the thing that's really impressive and really cool, is that he and I both share this desire that we want her to want things, and we want to see that. So it's up to you. No, that's all right. Not necessary.
そうですか。
Yeah. There's no meaning in her wearing those clothes unless she does it on her own initiative. The conversation grinds to a halt. For a moment, there's a vaguely awkward silence between us.
ゆうくん、一つ質問してもいいでしょうか？
Depends. What do you want to know?
どうしてゆうくんはみちる様の依頼を受けるとおっしゃったのでしょうか？
That's the thing that I thought was interesting. So, like, I kind of didn't say it at the time, but that's because I thought we might have a better chance to talk about it here. It's like, that was really what's interesting. Sachi didn't have a chance to dismiss it, and so I wonder why he stepped in. Was he trying to prevent her from having a moral crisis where she would be torn between wanting, feeling like she has to accept a request and whether or not she wanted to? And maybe because she's too close to the edge of being able to self-actualize, that he didn't want to risk her having, like, to suddenly face, like, the exact decision that caused so many problems for her in the past and would be so troublesome, but instead stepped in and took responsibility for it because maybe that gives her the wiggle room to still be explorative. Is that what he was going for? Let's see. A little tricky to explain, actually. Mainly, I thought accepting that request would help you find the answer to the questions I gave you the other day.
課題の答えがですか？
Yeah, also I wanted to see how you'd react to today when we faced the same request you'd accepted back then. And if you didn't refuse, how you'd try to carry it out. Long story short, you could say I dragged you into this for my own selfish reasons.
それでも構いません。ゆうくんから尋ねられて、みちる様の依頼を受けると決めたのは私ですから。
Right.
それに、あの依頼を受けることで答えが見つかるのだとしたら、私は一生懸命頑張るだけです。
I'm nervous. I feel like she's not seeing the point yet. I don't know what Sachi thinks about the incident she caused at her previous school. I don't know whether she regrets it or hides behind rationalizations. But when Michiru asked her to get rid of the test, Sachi hesitated for a moment with uncertainty in her eyes. After I pushed her into consenting, she asked me why. At the very least, something about the idea of repeating her actions made Sachi uncomfortable, even unsettled. That she nonetheless decided to accept her request could only mean one thing. The laws that bind Sachi haven't loosened their grip on her.
ゆうくん？
Ah, sorry, it's nothing.
そうですか。
Anyway, one last thing I wanted to ask. Do you have a plan in mind for getting rid of the tests?
はい。一度達成した依頼ですから、
Oh
今
no.
回も問題ないと思います。
Can we maybe do at least a different path? Already succeeded once, huh? Well, in that case, I guess I probably won't need to get involved.
はい。ゆうくんはいつも通りに過ごしてもらって大丈夫だと思います。
Alright then. Sorry for holding you up.
いえ、私はゆうくんの彼女ですから、何かあったらいつでも呼んでください。
With a smile and a demure little bow, Sachi calmly heads back to her room. Sachi may be confident now, but if she attempts to use the same method as before, she almost certainly is going to fail. That's not a problem in itself. Sachi has to fail if she's ever going to break out of the status quo. But failure alone would likely accomplish nothing more than leaving a new wound in her heart. Failure is necessary, but she can't allow herself to fail. The solution's obvious enough. She just needs to fail by succeeding. There's a fundamental contradiction hidden inside the laws of Sachi's bound herself to. Fail by succeeding. I have no idea how that's gonna work. I'm curious. I'm excited to find out because good grief, I don't know what's going on. And if she needs help to realize its existence, I'll use any means necessary to provide the key. Oh, I think we're about to head towards the Michiru solution, which is where we take something and go crazy with it. I'm starting to worry we are getting close to the end. Oh no. A little before midnight, there's a sudden knock at my door. Sakaki, right? It's not locked.
どうして私だと?
When I said Sachi had gotten rid of the test before, you were the only one who looked startled.
そう。顔に出していたつもりはなかったのに。よく見ているわね。
I mean, it wasn't like it was well hidden either. I'm a part-time cleaner after all. Can't overlook even the smallest specks of dust.
ほこり。ね。
Repeating my words with a knowing tinge of irony, Sakaki walks into the center of my room, letting the door close behind her. So, why drop by a man's room at this hour? Decided it was about time to throw away your virginity?
残念ながら、あなたに処女を捧げるつもりはないわ。
Ah, many troubles then. In that case.
風見くん、私はあなたに聞きたいことがあるのよ。
And what would that be? Nothing a clean change in the tone. Noting a clear change in the tone of Sakaki's voice, I decided it's wisest to stop teasing her.
あなたはテストをなくしたいという理由だけで、一人の少女が学校に火を放ったと噂されている事件のことを。
Interesting story. Sounds a bit far-fetched, though.
そう。あなたが知らないというなら、そのことに関してはもう聞かないけれど。
To be fair, Yumiko has, I guess you could call a stake in the school, and seeing it burn to the ground would not be in her interest.
あなたたちのクラスメイトとして、一つ、明確な答えを聞かせてちょうだい。
Can't promise anything until I hear the question.
じゃあ、松島さんの依頼を受けると言ったのはあなただけれど、小峰さんに危ない真似をさせるつもりじゃないのよね。
That's a good question. What if I say it's a possibility?
私にも考えがあるわ。
With clear anger in her voice, Sakaki takes out her box cutter and pushes the blade up with a violent snap. Might make a decent thumbnail here. I admire the spirit, but the odds of you actually touching me with that thing aren't even 1 in 100.
それでも、意識があるうちは、何度でもあなたに刃を向けるでしょうね。
Alright, I got the message. My bad. Do me a favor and put away the weapon. When I declare my surrender, Sakaki heaves a long, heavy sigh and slowly sheathes her makeshift knife. To be perfectly honest, the potential risk depends on how things play out. I can't say for sure whether she'll be in any danger. But no matter what means Sachi chooses to use in pursuit of her objective, I can promise you I'll protect her with everything I've got. That not good enough?
危険な目に合わせないとは約束できないの?
No, I can't. You're concerned about Sachi's safety to the point of menacing me with a box cutter? It rubbed me the wrong way to make you a promise I can't keep. And the truth is, drastic measures may prove necessary.
そう。あなたの話から推測すると、小峰さんが抱えている問題というのは。
Sorry, but I can't be the one to tell you that.
そうね。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。
Anyway, Sachi's not the only one who's going to be affected by this. Might end up inconveniencing you and the others as well.
私たちに?
Yeah, that's a weighted word. Yeah, of course, I promise to contain any danger and keep you all safe, but if things get ugly, I'd appreciate your help.
自分の手の内は明かさずに協力を求める。実に身勝手な話ね。
It's true. It's also very weird because he was imposing similar conditions where he said, I won't promise to answer a question until I know what the question is. I'm aware of that, but I'm still asking. Please, Sakaki.
わかったわ。もしそうなったら、できる限りの協力はする。
Right. Appreciate it.
でも、覚えておいて。私はあくまで小峰さんのために協力するのよ。
Good. That's supposed to be your take on Michiru's tsundere thing?
違うわよ。
Sakaki turns away with a scowl, and I'm not sure if she's really too disgusted to look at my face or just trying to hide the light blush on her cheeks.
とにかく、これで話は終わったから、私は失礼させてもらうわ。
Hey, Sakaki?
何よ。
Oh, this time I've been more than a little dubious about the whole thing. This place, this lifestyle, being a student. But as of right now, I think I'm all over that. I'm glad I came to this school. It feels like he's saying goodbye.
なぜ、それを私に？
Who knows? Maybe I just wanted you to hear it.
そう。
Sakaki quietly leaves my room with an uncharacteristically gentle expression on her face. Huh. Although I hadn't expected it to happen this way, I've managed to gain something of an accomplice. Sakaki poses both level-headed judgment and the ability to project authority. I don't think anyone's better suited to take care of the others when and if the time comes. But even with the cooperation of our classmates, more or less assured, there's still plenty of problems I need to take care of. And if my estimation of the situation is correct, the drastic measure I mentioned are absolutely going to prove necessary. Oh no. Which means I need to get moving. I'm getting nervous that we're actually approaching the end. Are we actually going to be approaching the end here? If so, I'm in trouble. I need to step on the gas. I'm gonna have to be able to be ready for the finale because I have to finish things. 10 minutes to go. It's a boiling summer day and I'm standing out in the sun, staring down my watch as I wait for a visitor. To carry out my plan, I'm going to need cooperation from a number of concerned parties. But even among them, it's safe to say the person I'm about to meet is the single most crucial piece of the puzzle. 5 minutes. 3 minutes. Exactly 108 seconds before the arranged time, I hear a high-pitched engine roar approaching. Only moments later, a certain flashy sports car drives to a halt outside the gate, no less an eyesore than the first time I saw it. Precisely on time, huh? Just what you'd expect from a German.
お待たせ。
Hey, JB. JB steps out of her car, carelessly brushing up her that loose lock of that shaggy blonde hair she's so proud of. Sorry for dragging you all the way out here.
確かに、ユージの方から呼び出すなんて珍しいわね。もしかして、もう学生を辞めたくなった？
Actually, it's the opposite.
逆？
Yeah, I want to stay at this school, keep up the whole normal student thing, and to make that possible, there's something I absolutely have to do.
なんだか私、とても嫌な予感がしてきたんだけど。
So do I. That's JB for you. Can't count how many times that sharp nose for trouble saved my butt.
ここで褒められても嬉しくないわね。
Yeah, no.
で、本人が認めているからはっきり聞くけど、ユージがどうしてもやらなければいけないことっていうのは。
I was hoping you might ask. I actually have a favor to ask of you.
頼み？
So that's the shape of it. Pretty simple, right? Yeah. That expression says it all. Sorry, too simple, huh? Might be a bit of a letdown.
その逆よ！よりにもよってそんな。あなた一体何を考えているの？
After carefully considering all the relevant factors, I conclude that this would be the single most effective approach.
すべてのことって、それがサチのためだってことはわかるけど、本当にそれだけのことをしなければいけない必要があるの？
I think we're having another Michiru issue, where for that, we needed to essentially kill Michiru and allow her to be conscious while being dead. That was the plan that helped her. Are we having to do something similar for Sachi? Depends on her, but in all probability, yes. I don't think anything less is going to get it done. Otherwise, I think Sachi would have found the answer to my problem by now. And if I'm going to make this happen, I need your help, Julia.
だからといって、そんな話に私が協力すると思う？
Probably not. You've never been the sort to put aside big picture for the small objective.
それなら。
Please listen to me, Julia. I've had enough regrets for one lifetime. I'm sick and tired of being a powerless bystander. It's not like I want to go around rescuing random people like some sort of superhero. But when there's someone suffering in front of me, and when that someone's a person I care about, I want to do everything I can to help them.
それが、サチだと？
That's right. When I learned about her identity and her burden, I wanted to help her. That feeling was absolutely real, and it's only gotten stronger over time. Aw, that's really sweet. And if I turn a blind eye to her problem now, I don't think I'm ever going to understand the meaning of the words Asako left me. That's me, he's even pulling out Asako.
それがあなたの出した答えなのね。
I can't remember which, like, was it the Machina route? Yeah, Machina's route, we talked about Asako and, like, her role in his life, but I get the feeling that we learned about her in other routes too. But yeah.
わかったわ。私もできる限りの協力はする。
I'm amazed he can persuade her. You sure about that?
あなたがそこまで言うなら、きっとそれだけの覚悟があるんだろうし。
Alright.
ここに朝子がいたら、男が頭を下げてきたら、女は黙ってうなずくくらいの気概が必要だって言われそうだしね。
I wish I could beat this Asako. Sorry, I appreciate it.
ただし、いくら市ヶ谷に赤坂の後ろ盾があると言っても、融通を聞かせられる範囲は限られているわよ。
I'm aware, yes. Don't worry, I'm not planning to give Ichigaya any headaches, and as long as you can get me the East Branch Express information and the soup, I'll figure out the rest on my own. What's the soup gonna be?
なんとかするって、あなた、そっちの方の知識も持っていたの？
You haven't forgotten what sort of person my master was, have you?
そうだったわね。
Asako trusted you more than anyone else, you know. And the same goes for me now. In fact, you're the only person in the world I'd call family. Aww. What I'm trying to say is I really am grateful, JB.
普段あれだけ可愛げないことを言う子から、そんなことを言われると、
If anything, maybe
なんだか調子が狂うわね。
that's a strategy. He makes himself like cheeky but endearing to the point where when he does need a serious favor, it just throws everyone for a loop. Maybe there's a strategy to that. My sincerest apologies.
まあ、養親に対する一つの親孝行とでも思っておくことにするわ。
Sure. Out of fidelity. Out of filial piety. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that word in my life. Filia piety. I guess I'll refrain from pointing out the contrast between these cynical words and the visible wetness in the corner of her eye. One last thing. I wanted you to get me 4 tickets for a helicopter ride.
ヘリクルージングって、そんなもの何に使うの？
Akane, Michiru, Makina, Yumiko. Are we gonna burn the school down? Because it sounds like we're gonna be evacuating our classmates. That part's a secret.
わかったわ。用途については聞かないけど、詳しい日時が決まったら連絡してちょうだい。こ
What?
っちも準備が整い次第連絡するから。
What are we even doing? This is getting like the implication here that a small part of whatever we're doing is a helicopter ride for 4 people. That's kind of terrifying. Yeah, go ahead and draw funds you're going to need out of my account.
それは構わないけど、さっきの話を聞いた限りだと、ユージのやろうとしていることを成功させるには、確実にもう一人の協力者が必要なんじゃない？
That's right, I am.
じゃあ、その人とはもう、
No, but that negotiation's next on my to-do list.
これからって、一見綿密に練られた計画のように見えて、肝心なところは体当たり。
Is it gonna be Chizuru?
そういうところは朝子そっくりね。
Guess I'll have to show you that that isn't the only thing I picked up from my master.
ええ、期待しているわ。
As a bright-eyed idealistic educator, I'm sure she's here at this hour. After seeing off JB, I arrive at the principal's office in search of my second most essential accomplish. Yes, I was right. Pardon me, coming in. As usual, I barge in without knocking, and I catch a brief glimpse of Chizuru making a face in a small mirror before she jumps out of her seat with a girlish little shriek. You'd think I was walking in on some innocent maiden changing clothes.
ね だ十分乙女の範囲です。
Okay.
多分。
Honestly, yeah, whatever you want. It's fine.
それから女性の部屋を訪ねるときはノックくらいするものでしょ。
Yeah, you're right, Chizuru. Sorry about that.
うん。
Apparently, I seem to have picked a somewhat awkward moment to visit.
で、何しに来たの？まさか顔を見に来たってわけじゃないんでしょ？
Yeah, thought I'd take you out on a date today, Chizuru. Get your things.
あなたには小峰さんっていう彼女がいるじゃない。それなのに私とデートなんてしたら浮気になっちゃう。
Okay, first of all, I appreciate that you're showing restraint on behalf of another woman who technically, who is supposed to be with him. But on the downside, the way she's speaking, I get the feeling that if he just pressed her, she would go along with it. Which is a little scary, that he could just sweep her off her feet if he wanted to.
そんなのダメよ。
The heck are you getting at all flustered about? It's a joke, obviously.
じゃあ本題は？
Judging from the look in her eyes and the tone of her voice, it's probably best to stop screwing around now. Alright, I'll explain in detail, but basically I want your cooperation with a little plan of mine.
私に協力してほしいこと？
Yeah, and I'm sure you're gonna hate it. That's right. So, I'm sure you can imagine, I could really use your help as a standing member of the board of directors, and as a prefectural governor's daughter. What? What's the matter? The time of the month really sneaks up on you, doesn't it? Gosh darn it, Yuji.
違います。あなたがあまりに突拍子もないことを言うものだから驚きすぎて声が出なかっただけです。
Oh, I was being perfectly serious, though.
それはまあ、風見くんのことだから話を面白おかしくしているわけじゃないとは思っていたけれど。
Her heart's been frozen solid for a very long time now. Thawing it out's going to require some serious kinetic energy.
で、そのきっかけとなったのが休み明けに実施される学力テストだったわけね。
That and Michiru being crazy. Right, it was a complete coincidence that Michiru asked Sachi to get rid of the test, but ultimately we have a chance to settle things in one shot thanks to your timely assistance.
いい話って、私はあなたにそんなことをさせるためにテストの話を持っていったわけじゃないのよ。
Yes, I know. If we do carry out Michiru's request, you're going to be the one inconvenienced the most severely.
そうよ。テストをなくそうとすることでどれだけの影響が出るかは未知数だし。
I really wonder what the... Oh, this plan's already sounding really intriguing. So, if you refuse to cooperate, Chizuru, I have no choice but to scrap this plan.
ずるい言い方ね。私がダメだって言えないのを知っているくせに。
How about this? I'll make you a promise in exchange. Shachi's going to be herself again. I'm going to make that happen.
その言葉、信じていいのね。
I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be like either she's going to be herself or one of us will be dead. One of the two. Yeah.
わかりました。そういうことなら、私も風見くんに協力させてもらいます。
Alright. Thanks, and sorry to drag you into this.
私のことはいいけれど、いくら私が学園長だからといって、この学園自体は私のものじゃない。それは分かっているわよね。
Yeah, there's a good chance we're going to absolutely piss off some very powerful people. Even so, I know you'll find a way to do what needs to be done.
そう言ってハルデラさんも籠絡したのかしら。
Oh? How'd you know I brought JB in already?
私があなただったら間違いなくハルデラさんの力を借りているもの。
I see. Persuasive reasoning.
でも年下の男の子にこうも翻弄されていると、年上女性の威厳も型なしね。
Nah. Not to worry. It's not like you had much to lose in the first place with your baby face of yours. Oh, Yuji.
風見くん
Don't get all huffy. There's plenty of ladies out there who there's plenty of there are plenty of ladies out there who'd kill to be mocked for their youthful appearance.
まったく、あなたのそういうところは誰に似たのかしら。
Interesting question. Guess I'd have to be my master.
風見くんの師匠というと、草壁麻子さんのことね。
Right. Kusakabe Asako, the woman I called master. She adopted me, a child breathing, but in no other sense of living. A child breathing, but in no other sense living, and patiently raised me into someone capable of working for Ichigaya. You could say I'm only standing here today thanks to her. That's something I won't ever be able to forget, even if I was inclined to try.
私は直接会ったことはないけれど、ハルデラさんからも話は聞いているわ。
Yeah,
すごい人だったって。
she sounds amazing, and she also sounds like crazy, like genuine crazy. That's a pretty decent summary. Even after all this time, with everything she's taught me and a hell of a lot of independent study, I'm still 10 sizes too small to fit her shoes.
そう。
Kusakabe Asako was without a doubt the most extraordinary person I've ever known, but ironically enough, she was also the woman who helped me find something like normality.
それじゃあ話を戻すけれど、私はまず漫画を用意すればいいのね。
What's the manga? So we have the soup and the manga. What's that? Kinda surprised you already know a slang term like that.
ソフトウェア開発をしている友達が使っていて驚いたことがあるから。
I'm guessing other people, especially like someone in Japan, might get this reference. I have no idea what it is. And if it'll spoil what's about to happen, don't tell me. But if it's not a huge deal, I would be interested to know. But you could always save it for later if it's going to be too much of a spoiler of what's about to happen. Like, if you think it might imply, because at this point I'm flying in blind, maybe that'll be a better way for me to experience this. So maybe don't tell me yet, but try and make sure to remember to tell me later. I see. Anyway, yeah, once I have those, I'll get to work constructing a more specific plan.
わかったわ。明日には用意できると思うから、今日と同じくらいの時間に取りに来て。
Sweet. Right. Also, I need a relatively sizable room without too much clutter.
そうね。それなら、グラウンド脇にある用具室を使っていいわよ。中はほとんど空だから。
Appreciate it. Sorry about all this.
わかっているとは思うけど、女性からもらったプレゼントのお返しは3倍返しが基本よ。
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Oh, Sachi. Oh, Sachi. When I arrive at the third floor of the dorm in search of Sachi, I find her crouched over a sizable pile of books, flipping pages with an expression of intense focus. Seems she's using the spare minutes waiting for the laundry to review a stack of reference materials, not entirely out of character to be sure. But this is a dramatic change from the dreamy thoughtfulness that was our return from the beach. Instead of losing herself in distracted reveries, she's immersed in practical research. And just as I'd expected, the composure has already vanished from her face. Proof that she's realized her previous method won't work for this request. The circumstances are very different. On the most fundamental level, the school buildings in question differ radically in scale and construction. After even a cursory comparison of these differences, it's simple enough to realize that the same trick is unlikely to work again. So the old school building was literally an old wooden structure. This is a modern concrete structure. Could it catch fire and burn? Yes. Is it likely to actually achieve the result that Sachi wants? Probably not. At this point, it comes down to whether or not she can find an entirely different approach, but... Right now, Sachi can't even sense my presence at her side. The laws she's imposed on herself, her absolute need to be a good girl, has forced her into a state of such obsessive concentration that nothing else even registers. And she's getting so close, it hurts to see her like this. Of course, I'd expect something of this sort, but it's the first time I've seen Sachi this intensely serious. Her half-assured air of easy confidence has vanished without a trace. The request she's currently grappling with presents an exceptionally thorny problem, after all. On some level, Sachi seems to realize that she's fast approaching a moment of truth. In that case, the best thing I can do for the girl right now is allow her to simmer in her own desperation. Man, that sucks, though.
それでは、これで失礼させていただきますね。
Yeah. Even as she broods over getting rid of the test, Sachi's constantly maintaining her routine of cleaning my room and doing my laundry. I guess I should be happy as a boyfriend that she places such a high priority on taking care of me. But no matter how used she is to these sorts of chores, it's obvious that she's keeping up the daily grind is going to make it hard on her under the circumstances, and I can't allow myself to step in to help right now. It's a mixed feeling. Oh, as I'm mulling things over, my cell phone bleats shrilly in my pocket. No need to bother looking at the screen. I know who this call's from. You, JB?
Ohayo, Yuuji. Sachi no yousu wa dou?
Seems she hasn't figured out an effective plan yet. Currently absorbed in brainstorming. So, what can I do for you?
そうそう。東浜電鉄グループに関してなんだけど、なかなか興味深いことが分かったわ。
Okay. Think we can use it?
確証を得るにはもう少し時間が必要だけど、おそらくは。
Good to hear.
詳細はメールで送るから、目を通しておいてちょうだい。
Roger.
それと、もう一つ頼まれていたものも、もうすぐ用意できそうなんだけど、ついでにスープに入れる野菜を育てるために必要なものも、こっちで手配させてもらったわ。
Vegetables. What is the soup, a bomb? I was planning to take care of that myself, you know. Didn't want to push everything off on you.
一度手を貸すと決めたら手間は同じよ。実際マウスを操作する回数が少し増えるくらいの差なんだしね。
Because soup and vegetables, it feels like oh yeah, I'm getting like the fertilizer, which could be like the vegetables, and like the stock could be like, I don't know, the plastic explosives or something. Like yeah, like at this point, that's my best guess is the soup is a bomb, but like that'd be ridiculous. Like unless. I guess it would kind of make sense if it would be what would work best to take out the school, but why would we do that? All right, whatever you say, thanks. Okay, now I'm trying to think that maybe there is something to this theory. Like, we promised that if she couldn't, we would make sure that she succeeded. And if we blew up the school and evacuated okay, all right, maybe it is a bomb. Oh no. But like, I thought the whole point was that we want her to like come to a realization. We want her to fail at succeeding. Oh, well maybe that's all it is. Maybe to be able to fail at succeeding is that Sachi does her best, she fails and has to come to grips with the fact that she's not capable of doing it. But then Yuuji steps in and succeeds the request anyway, allowing her to see that like, she can fail and it'll be okay. Maybe that's the whole point. And a bomb's the best thing I can think of that he might actually be able to have access to. But like, it's weird that a soup is like the analogy, but I can't think of anything else it would be.
品物はもうすぐそっちに届くと思うから、受け取りよろしくね。
And he asked for a workstation. Asked for a place where he could work. He's gonna be building something. It must be a bomb. Right. Hello? Thought I heard something. And within an hour of the phone call, the truck bearing JB's gifts makes his way to the school gate.
じゃあっす。富士見運送っすけど、あなたが受取人の風見さんっすか？
Yeah, I'm Kazami.
荷物結構な量があるんすけど、どうします？倉庫とかがあるんだったらそこまで運んじゃいましょうか？
Okay, maybe not. Bombs don't have to be super huge. Maybe it's something else. That's fine. Just unload everything here and I'll take care of the rest.
了解っす。しゃした！
When all the goods are finally out of the truck, the delivery man leaves with a cheerful frat boy style farewell. Guess I'd better get these inside before the others notice. Oh, fetch. What?
ここ、私たちが行くまで一歩も動くんじゃないわよ。
Ah, too late. Well, this might have been inevitable, given how rare it is to see a vehicle of any kind inside our campus. But it's not like I've got anything I can't let them see, so I guess it shouldn't be a problem.
あんた、トラックなんか呼び込んで、一体何を買って、くさ
Uh-oh.
何か面白いことをするつもりなら私も混ぜてほしいのよって
それで、これは何に使うのかしら
Word of advice, Sakaki? Pinching your nose disdainfully while you speak isn't going to help you win friends and influence people.
だって、すごい匂いを放っているわよ、それ。
Of course it is. That's sort of how this stuff is. Is it fertilizer?
これって農作物に使う肥料でしょ？
Yeah.
肥料？
Okay. That's the thing. It's like, so I know fertilizer can be used in making bombs, but I don't think manure fertilizer is the kind. I thought it was like the chemical kind of fertilizer, like nitrogen, like the nitrogen that people spread. You can use that as a component of making explosives. So maybe it's not a bomb. But why would we need manure? I mean, it could be part of a bomb, just not the kind that blows up buildings. Could be a pseudo sewage bomb, which is disgusting. Why? No, I am not.
ならどうして肥料なんて。
Our thoughtful principal noticed that Sachi's been looking busy lately, decided to compensate by ripping me into a temporary position of a voluntary gardener. Figured I'd start off with the fundamentals and enrich the soil a bit.
だからってこんなに買い込んでどうするのよ。
First part of the job is laying down some flower beds along the whole outer periphery of the athletics grounds. Something along down the line, I'm going to be spreading the flower-filled exercise concepts throughout Mishima Cape as a whole.
花いっぱい運動ね。
Playing with dirt's good stuff, you know. Gardening's a pretty solid workout, and it's got a well-documented relaxing effect as well. I can attest to that. I've been doing a garden this year, and it's been just tons of fun. And being able to harvest and eat the food that you make is really, really like cathartic. It's genuinely surprising how much of a difference that makes in just how the food feels to you. Like, the thing is too, is like, the vegetables I'm growing tend to be more misshapen, have some more flaws, it doesn't look as perfect as you get used to at the store. But for some reason, it tastes better. I think it's because it's picked like when it's ripe rather than being picked early so it can ripen while it's on transport to the stores. So yeah, there's really something cool about being able to grow a garden. Amane's not entirely buying this, is she? Sharp girl.
じゃあ何か手伝えることがあったら言ってよ。私トラクターとかも運転できるから。
I bet you can. What?
ん？私何か変なこと言った？
Not really, but motorcycles, trucks, and now tractors. Is there anything you can't drive?
まあね、免許を持ってなくてもタイヤがついてる乗り物なら大体転がせるかな。
Probably my surprising talent in this vein would be driving a boat. I grew up driving and riding various watercraft, and so I could probably get behind the sticks of anything that's not larger than, I don't know, maybe a yacht. Yacht would be pushing my capabilities because the bigger a boat is, the more unwieldy it can be, and thus trying to dock it can be very dangerous and troubling. In fact, I don't understand how cargo ships do it. I think like they literally have tugboats have to pull them in to where they need to go because trying to do it manually would be practically impossible. But when it comes to small watercraft, recreational watercraft, oh, even though it's been years since I've been able to do it, it's so instinctual. I feel like I'd be able to do a great job at it still because it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you learn, you don't forget. You just have to figure out the controls of the various craft that you're on. But most of them operate so fundamentally similarly. It's like a car in the sense that like once you've learned how to drive a car, getting behind the wheels of any other car is usually about the same. I see.
私に花いっぱい運動は無理ね。サボテン枯らしちゃうくらいだし。
Oof.
私もどちらかといえば収穫されたものを食べる方が好きなのよ。
Of course you do, Makina.
それなら作業が残ってるユージの邪魔にならないように私たちは部屋に戻りますか。
Thank you, Amane.
さっきスーパーでアイス買ってきたからみんなで食べようよ。
Yeah, okay, I think she is a little sharper than she's letting on.
私を誘うってことは当然抹茶味のアイスも用意してあるんでしょうね。
Wow, that's fairly entitled, Michiru. Come on, just be happy you're getting ice cream.
はいはい、抹茶もオレンジも買ってあるからおとなしく寮に戻ろうね。
Thanks, Amane. You're good. You're good people. Definitely wrapping up the conversation, the big sister of the group coaxes the two troubled children back into the dorm. Amane might not have bought my story, but I think she's got the general idea that I'm taking action for Sachi's sake. This is probably her way of being considerate.
少しいいかしら。
Uh-huh. What's up? Don't you want to get some of that ice cream?
風見くんが私の質問に素直に答えてくれれば
アイスにも間に合うでしょうね。
What do you want to know?
実は小峰さんから風見くんが出した課題の内容について聞いたのだけれど、
Ah. They literally, ah.
思ったより驚かないのね。
I know how much you people love sticking your nose into others' business. I was more or less expecting something of the sort. I mean, this is a clear example of that where, like, a truck showed up and they immediately ran over to figure out what was going on.
それなら話が早いのだけれど、テストをなくすという依頼を達成することで風見くんの出した課題の答えも見つかると考え。
I wouldn't have gone out of my way to reopen old wounds if I thought otherwise.
そう。それなら定例会議はもう必要なさそうね。
Regular meetings.
ごめんなさい。こちらの話よ。
Wait, have they been consulting since then about other topics from the internet? I guess this this petty secrecy is her way of getting payback on the other day.
それじゃ土いじり頑張ってちょうだい。
In any case, it's nice that they are being relatively cooperative. Okay. In the pitch black hallway, the only sound is the echoing of my own footsteps. After waiting until my classmates were soundlessly asleep, I slipped out of the way of the dorm to infiltrate the abandoned school building. With a recent construction like this, it's definitely going to take some time to get things ready. To be honest, without Chizuru's cooperation, I doubt I could have gotten anywhere, and even now it won't be easy. That said, failure simply isn't an option. After pushing Sachi that hard, I darn well better give my part everything I've got. Oh boy. He's like installing stuff. Stop bothering. My cat is like hungry and he's like bothering me. Getting close to 4 in the morning. Another hour and we're getting dangerously close to Sachi or Amane waking up. Just to be on the safe side, I guess I'll call it a night. That room. Okay. I think we're gonna stop here for now. I'm feeling pretty happy about things as they are, so as much as I want to keep pushing forward, I'm both really like happy with the how long we've gone till now, and terrified. I'm getting really close to the end here now, so just give me a heads up. Maybe based on the typical length of my episodes, do you have an idea of how many more we might have? Because I suddenly feel the oppressive feeling that the finale is right around the corner, and I might need to be putting the pedal to the metal to make sure I finish the rest of the series in the background. Like, I've been making good pacing, I feel like, but I haven't been pushing too hard. I've also been playing Elden Ring. I don't have a ton of free time. It mostly goes to making content on YouTube, so the little bits I do get throughout the day, I've been trying to kind of split between trying to finish the other routes for the Fruit of Grisaia and playing Elden Ring because I'm enjoying the game, and I'm still not even like remotely finished with it. I've been like really taking my time with it, so yeah. Maybe I need to put that on hold though and just focus on finishing this game. That's what I'm thinking. So hopefully I'll be able to finish the Amane route, and then I can finish the common route / Yumiko route. I don't like how it's called the common route. I'm only calling it that though because it's like if you manage to not go on any other route, it's like the default. But I don't think that's fair. I think it's still a choice you have to dodge, especially because some of these choices of of how to get certain paths for characters, you like literally like it's so hard not to, because emotionally you don't want to. But oh well, we'll get to that when we get to it. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for joining me for the channel. It's really good to have you here. It just feels good to record again. Like I said, I took a vacation. It was fun, but I miss making content regularly. It's a nice cathartic way for me to de-stress, and so this has been really pleasant. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your support for the channel, and overall just kind of being a part of what we do. I'm really looking forward to continuing, and now that like we're getting towards like holiday seasons and stuff, there's a lot of changes that are probably in my future, and you know, we'll adapt with it as we go, but it means the world to me that you're supporting me, that you're here watching this video. That makes so much of a difference for a channel like mine, and just in general. Like, I don't care how many of you there are, but if there's even one person who is finding this entertaining, that's more than enough for me. So I'm really grateful for each and every one of you that are here. And like, if you feel like I don't mean you for some reason because you're listening to this. Trust me, I do mean you specifically. Go back and look at my early content. I was happy to have 2 views on something. Like, we've come a long way, and it's only more and more enjoyable as we go. So I'm just so grateful for you. Thanks for finding my channel. Thanks for taking the time, and I hope you continue to enjoy yourselves. And I really, really appreciate the members and the patrons who are, supporting me directly. It means the world to me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and that we get to come back next week and see how things kick off, because I feel like we're getting really close to that launch point. Whew. Oh, I'm excited. Thank you so much. Until next video, watch me up. See me next. I'll see you there.